everyone, I'm Lola from the Student Music Network. I'm the Artists and Labels Partnership Officer, and I am joined here for this very special interview with the one and only JAXN. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
So you've got a new song out called Falling Around, and it's the second song that you've released this year. And I've seen, as someone who has you on TikTok, I've kind of seen you promoting it, getting it ready, but obviously that's taken time for it to come out. What was it like going all the way back and making the song, not even the promo stage?
Yeah, no, it was interesting. The song kind of came about really quickly. I wrote it with a friend of mine who's also a producer in Manchester, and we kind of like connected on the fact that we really like the same type of music and we grew up on the same vibe. So that was like our mutual connection prior to writing the song. And yeah, and then we just decided after loads of back and forth on Instagram, and I've met him a couple of times, we were like, right, we need to write something. Like we'd send each other songs like from like 20 years, like 10 years ago. We'd be like, oh, how good does this sound? So I think at some point we were just like, right, let's do it. And then we got in a room together and we wrote it really quickly. And this year there was a lot of like preparing, not so much like with this song, there was a lot of changing going along like in the background with different like management and stuff, and I had to kind of like process a lot of things and get everything together. So this song we've been sat on for quite a while, as well as like all the other new music. So yeah, I'm just excited to actually have it out.
I always see like, you know, TikTok comments when I was doing my research, it's like, when's it coming out? Like how many more mini TikTok vlogs are you going to do with this song? And I can see that people were waiting for it. So how does it feel to know that people want to hear your music, and that when they do get to hear it, that it like reaches up to the expectations that they have for it?
It feels great. It honestly feels great. I think like TikTok gets a lot of stick, and I am very much like aware of that. And I'd like to think that like I've always had this like theory about TikTok, and I think it is just like what you take from it and like what your output is, because I'm not actually on the app that often, believe it or not. Like, although I try and post quite regularly, like I don't go on it that much. Like I've not really caught the TikTok bug.
That's
So
good.
like, so
Some of us have.
yeah, no, do you know what? There was a point last year where I felt myself slipping, and I felt myself like waking up, just like having a little scroll, and then I was like, no, I can't even begin to get into that. So no, it's amazing to just see like what you're putting out there, that there are fans of that. And I just think that in that sense TikTok's great to kind of like find your crowd, you know what I mean? Because the reach is so like far and wide with TikTok, you will find the people that like how you dress, your aesthetic, your taste in music, your styling, like editing, whatever it is that you do on that app, there are people for it. And I think what I'm able to acknowledge is that all these comments kind of that you're mentioning and people getting excited, they are the people that like genuinely would listen to that style of music. Maybe that, you know, that like are in the world of entertainment, not being themselves. And it's like, it's so crazy because like the most like beautiful part of being an artist is like when you yourself, like people gravitate to that. And it's a shame that some people like can't be themselves. But yeah, no, it's great to see people getting excited. It gets me excited, and it kind of like reminds you why you're doing it, I guess.
When you make a song like Falling Around or One Kiss, do you think about the aesthetics and how you're gonna look when you're doing the music video, or how you're gonna make a live performance happen whilst you're creating the song? Are you someone who visualizes a song?
Yeah, very much so. Like as soon as I start writing it, I'm automatically thinking about the video, I'm thinking about the artwork, I'm thinking about like cool things that I can do with it. Like aside from music, for quite a long time now, I also like professionally video edit, and I do videography and design, and like that's something that's like always ran parallel with music. So I think those two worlds kind of like align. And if there's something that I'm not fully aware of in one world, I'll make sure I kind of like learn it and spend, whether it be a year, 2 years, like mastering that side of it to like bring it to the whole vision. So yeah, for sure, like sometimes people like my management, whoever it is who's like part of my team, they're very much like, can you just not talk about like this for now? Let's just get the music
You're like
started. And
the
I'm just like,
fashion, the design,
yeah,
it's just as
it's
important.
all like, it's just like cogs in my
I
head
think
that
that's the best
just,
artists though. I think ones who have like to be fair, you don't always need the full picture, but if you can see it more than like the notes and the lyrics, and you can see how it's like building your journey as an artist and all that, I think that's important.
when you have full control over the vision and like the direction in which you want to take it, it's all encompassing in that it's super stressful and it takes up a lot of your time. But with that said, you do have full like control over the vision and where you want to take it. And it is very much you. Me and my friend who's also in my band, we do all the videos, we do all the artwork. So like with that very much like in the circle, like it kind of feels like it's a unique thing that we're doing.
Well, I'm wondering, when is Depop going to sponsor you, because the song's been out for a few days now and I'm waiting. Have we got any, is that going to happen? How can we make this happen for you?
I honestly don't know, like that is a good question. It needs to happen soon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know any, I don't have any links at Depop, if I'm being honest.
You need to get one of those Depop girls who has like a shop, and then just like get them to use it in a TikTok or like a reel or something.
No, I know I can. When I was writing it, I did have that conversation. I was like, we need some sort of like Depop support with this. Just like, I feel like it'd make a great ad for them. Like I'm doing
Yeah,
their job for
I
them.
see
You
it.
know what I
I
mean?
see it on the telly. Even on YouTube, it'd be the perfect YouTube one. Now, we are obviously a student network,
Yeah.
and you're young, we're young people, whatever like that. But a lot of people who are students, who are musicians, or they want to get into the kind of industry that you are in, are really struggling at the moment to kind of not make it, but to get noticed. And I want your advice for them about how you can, like, how can they keep it going? What's your best advice for someone that is a young artist and all of that?
That's a really good question. I mean, I'm not necessarily in a position where I have got to my end goal. I'm nowhere near, and I'm not in a position where I can kind of say, this is this, because I'm still like figuring it out myself. But from
Even to
my
get
own
to the
personal
stage you are.
experience,
Yeah.
yeah, from my own personal experience, I think it's just like consistency and like um it's the mentality more than anything, because if you truly believe in yourself and you truly believe that you have something that other people will enjoy, whatever that is, I think you just have to trust in yourself. And a lot of it is like how you bounce back and how you take all the downfalls. Like I think when I first started music, a lot of things happened straight off the bat that were like really reassuring. And I got to a position where I moved out to LA for quite a while and I had managers out there. And this was before I was still kind of like in college at that point. And it was just all so confusing. And from there was like a big lull. And I was really like, I hadn't figured anything out. And I was like, what is happening? Like it went from everything to nothing. And I think that that's the moment in which like determines whether you are gonna kind of like continue and make it a thing. It's how you take the downfalls, because like no matter what trajectory you're on, even if you blow up overnight, there'll still be a point 2 years time that you might fall off for a second or not be doing as well. And it's how you bounce back and how it's all up here essentially. That's my best advice. And I think like I've been almost like borderline delusional sometimes, whereby I'm like, I don't care, this is happening, I'm gonna do it. But if you do keep reassuring yourself and almost like tricking your brain into thinking that like, no, this is what we're doing, this is gonna work, this is gonna work, we'll take that in our stride. And obviously you take criticism constructively, and it's blah blah blah, and you have to keep moving forward and adapting. But I think it's how you take it, because especially as a student, like things will just like come and just wipe like so quickly, and you'll be back to square one. And it's just how quickly you can get back to yourself again and stay motivated. And I think that's why a lot of people give up, in my opinion.
I think that's really good advice. And I think even with myself, what I do, like the radio and like the Student Music Network stuff, like some days are amazing, and some moments like everyone wants you to present a show, whatever, and then next day it's like nothing. And I always say to my mom, because I've moved back from uni now, I'm back home, I'm like I'm so unemployed, or I'm like the biggest freelancer ever. And she's like, well, you're not, you've got loads of work next week and it's going to be really great. This week you've got nothing. And that happens. And I think I know obviously moving to LA and then coming back to UK and stuff like that's different to not having radio shows for a couple of weeks. But I know what you're saying in the sense of like sometimes can be really good and other times aren't. And I think it's I think it's what you say is right. Like you kind of got to trick yourself into thinking it's okay, because normally even if you've got to trick yourself, it is okay and it will be okay.
Yeah, for sure. Big picture always. And it doesn't matter what journey you're on, like everyone, it's all relative to you as a human. So like people might do things that I aspire to do and be self-critical of those things that they've done. But then you have to remember that there might be people out there that are aspiring to do things that I'm currently doing. So it's just about feeling grateful. And likewise with yourself, there'll be so many people who want to be in your position right now. And it's remembering that that is, you have come so far from where you started off. And I think if you can, it's just how it's your mentality. Everything's mentality for sure. Like I like to think that I lean more towards the hard work inside. I know a lot of people within the music industry that are unbelievably talented. And it seems to be like the people with the most natural talent can almost be the laziest. And I think if you're able to like find the balance in between both, then, and obviously stay super positive when you have your bad days, then there's no reason why you can't get to where you want to be.
Let's go on to your live performances, because you've done a couple this year and stuff like that. Is that something that you want to do more of?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I put together a band for like the first time. So my first live performances were this year, and I've got a band together, and what I was really keen to do is like what you hear on Spotify, what you hear online. I wanted to bring like a more interactive kind of like crazy experience when you see it live. I think what I was super keen to do was bring this whole crazy sound whereby like me and my band just work so hard on like the details, and they're all super like into the music. They're like musicians through and through. They're like purists. They study like the art of music. So they're essentially just nerds. That's what I'm saying. Like super nerdy, like music heads, which is what I'm like. So like we just wanted to be like, wow, like how can we make these songs so good at all points? And I really think we've lifted that. So yeah, I've done 2 shows today, and I have a show in London next week on the 21st.
Where is it?
And then a few more the months after. The show is it's at Press Vintage, I think it's called. I'm not too familiar with like, I've lived in London for like a year now, but I'm not too familiar with
what area. Do you know what area it is?
I think it's Hackney, but you'd have to check my socials because I keep posting about it.
Oh, there we go. You plugged the socials and the show in a sentence. Done. Light work. Management's going to be happy. So you've got that show, and then are you taking it on tour? What are you doing after that?
Yeah, so following that, I'm playing a few festivals a month after. I'm playing live at Leeds, and I'm playing Twisterella Festival. So the Leeds one's going to be amazing because obviously like I spent a lot of time growing up around Leeds. So like, and it's completely student based, like everything there is just like up and coming artists for all the students there. So that would be great. And following that, yeah, we're sorting out some sort of like support tour, and we just want to get out and really just like show the country, and then following that, like the rest of the world, like what we can bring energy to the
worldwide.
world.
Are you
Yeah.
ready for the quick fire? This is like my speciality, which I feel like is everyone's speciality, but I feel like I've got some good questions in here. Are you ready?
Right, okay, what do I have to answer them like intuitively, like super
Yeah, you have to
quick?
be quick because some people will
Okay.
take their time and then it's like it's not very quick. Okay, you ready?
Right, okay. Right, I might not be the best at that. I'm quite
Fine,
a
it's
slow
fine.
person in general. Right, okay, here we go.
Depop or vintage?
Because of the conversation we just had, Depop. However, vintage bargains, like
Okay.
absolute bargains. It's so cheap.
Right, quick, we got to get into the next one. TikTok or Reels?
TikTok.
Chinese or fish and chips?
Fish and chips.
London or Manchester?
Manchester.
Who would you wear to the Brit Awards?
Vivienne Westwood.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh my gosh, my quick fire is gone. Music or fashion?
Music.
Avril Lavigne or Britney Spears?
Avril.
There we go. Done and
Yeah.
done.
Oh,
That's it.
you.
I know.
Intense there. I was expecting like a spanner in the works.
My mum
Okay,
actually, I was like, your mum or your dad?
Shit.
Well, I've been chatting to JAXN here on the Student Music Network. How can people find you and how can people listen to music?
So socials, I'm pretty active on Instagram and TikTok. So TikTok's JAXN Baby and Instagram JAXN JAXN _, and you'll find me there. And Spotify is JAXN JAXN, all capitals. And I'm releasing songs, like I released a song really recently, and then there's one in the pipeline, so you'll be expecting a lot. Like it's all coming essentially.
So exciting. Well, keep on
Mhm.
listening and we'll keep an eye out for JAXN.